So, sir, coming from your own startup and now you are heading the NASSCOM 10,000 startup program. So, how has been your journey so far?
Oh, journey has been pretty interesting. So, yes, I've been a corporate person for quite a while. And even in corporate life, it was always the want or desire to do something on my own. So, very quickly, I'd stepped out from the corporate life to build something which was my own. That time, it wasn't called a startup. I was just an entrepreneur. So, having failed that, I went back and wore the tie again.
So, sir, how is NASSCOM helping Indian startups, like the growing startups which have just started, in establishing themselves?
So NASSCOM, as part of the initiative, we started up something which is what I'm running right now, which is called 10,000 Startups. And the word 10,000 Startups, actually the objective is to help 10,000 startups over a period till in 10 years. So by 2023, as you know, the program is kind of 3 years old now. So we should be able to impact 10,000 startups. And when I say impact, I have a framework kind of defined within NASSCOM, which says impact by F.A.M.E. So startup come to 10,000 startups, we will give you F.A.M.E. And F in the F.A.M.E is funding. So we'll help you support funding. So directly we don't do funding, but we'll help you get funding. A is for acceleration. So that's any incubation setup or co-working spaces. M is for mentorship. So we look for mentorship and nurture. So depending upon the stage of startup which you are, if you're in early stage, if you're just in ideation stage, then we'll get you some nurtureship. If you're in a more, you've built your prototype and you're looking up for a serious mentor, we'll help you get a mentor. And finally, E in the F.A.M.E part is the enterprise connect, which is basically the business connect that if I made a product, who do I pitch to? Where do I get, market access?
Okay, so as you said, the program is already 3 years old. So what is the roadmap for the coming 7 years?
So in terms of the roadmap right now, like I said, we've kind of built it into 4 blocks. Initially, when we started off, it was more about evangelizing. But I think we've put across one set, which we call as a pillar, which is called the connect pillar, in which basically its connect is right from evangelization to a global market access program. So that means under the F.A.M.E network, I'll get you funding, acceleration, mentorship, enterprise connect, and I'll also give you market access, which is startups on the highest ladder are actually taken globally so that they can pitch their product in the global market space. And right from here, we are in India, we do a lot of events. So one is events which is for evangelization. Second is events which are thematic events. Recently we did a fintech event, so edutech event. Right? So these are certain events, health tech events. So these are thematic events where we collect the industry and bring them in and collect the startups and get them to meet and actually interact, and hopefully we put it across. So,
okay, so there is a bubble building in the Indian startup ecosystem. So how will you comment on that?
So the bubble is great. So as long as it's not bursting. So the bubble is great. And if you really look at it, the kind of startups which we've seen, initially the startups which are there, which have been successful in the Silicon Valley, those models were replicated in the country. Phase 2 we saw startups which have been built in the Silicon Valley or in the US, or which have been success, which have just come on board, but we didn't know if the market would accept them. Right? So some of the products, so you would have seen some move around, and then a lot of people jumping in the same bandwagon coming together. Third phase which you will see is startups which are building genuine products which are for the market itself, for the Indian market itself. We have our own set of issues. If you really see banking issues, infrastructure issues, skill development issues, fintech issues. So in each of these areas, you will see startups are building genuine solutions.
So how do you think is Modi government helping these startups in establishing them through the program of Startup India, Stand Up India?
So I think one of the first initiatives where the Honorable Prime Minister actually went to the first time where the Prime Minister actually spoke in a startup session was in the Silicon Valley. Exactly. And I think that's to get the mind share of the Silicon Valley, saying that, listen, we are building very innovative startups in the country. So I think we were very glad to be part of it and to have structured this initiative and build that event in San Jose, which took place in September of last year, where we had worked with the other agencies like DST, BIRAC, IMA, CIE. We had worked along with them. We all worked as a team to put together one of the best startups in the country and showcase them in the Silicon Valley. So that was a great success which we had.